Welcome to another episode of Salvage 1 Bus Life Adventures. Okay, everyone, I believe we are finally ready for the inspection. Done everything I think we can do. According to how I interpreted the MVD list, I have met 4, possibly 5 of the 6 criteria, and you only need 4 to pass. But it just depends on the guy who's going to be doing the inspection and if he's a stickler or if he's got his own idea of the way it should be. I'm totally at the mercy of MVD, but as I feel right now, we have hit the mark. So I'm going to do a quick little tour of the bus here. Just a real quick walkthrough because there's really almost nothing to it. All right, we start at the front door. So pretty basic, right? There's no free-fra, anything going on there. I did install a lock for the outside, and everybody's, oh, you shouldn't put a padlock on the outside, a padlock hasp, because people can lock you into your vehicle. Well, that's a good thing. I want to be in here with my stuff. I don't want somebody else in here with my stuff. That being said, let's move up here to the engine compartment. Here I have my ghetto suspension, so that should work pretty good. I've already been bouncing in the seat there and sitting in there as I move the bus around the property as needed, and it's holding up fine. And we'll see what it does on the road with a little bit of distance behind it. We cleaned up as best we could. We have a working PA system, so that's going to be awesome when people are in the back doing stuff and I want to heckle them and they don't know it's coming, so that's going to be awesome. Leaving the mirror right there, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. Then I'll be able to see what people are doing. Here is a compartment. I haven't really done anything in there yet. I'll just keep paperwork and gloves and things like that, like what's already up here. I'm going to leave that insulation in there. It's been working fine for 20 years. It'll work fine for 20 more years. I don't feel the need to mess with it. This is the door air system, so you got to make sure it's released when you're parked somewhere and you want to get in and out real quick. When you're driving, you want to make sure it's in the on position so that you can work the doors, keep them closed using air pressure. And that's the switch down there on the dash port right there. Travel logs and important paperwork. Let's move on back. As you can see, it's pretty much bare bones. But like I said, if you've been following the build, you know that was the intention. We were never going to build this into a multi-room $100,000 RV. This was just made for fun. I wanted to have the bus feel. I wanted to have all the windows open, everything. So we got a big open space here. You can do anything. You could put a bench in there. The intent is when we park, I have mobile furniture. None of the furniture is really tied down. This is the only thing that's bolted down. That center, the kitchen with the fuel and everything, and the water, that's all bolted down, so it's not going anywhere. Everything else is mobile. The plastic chairs can stack, the cots can stack, break down and stack. Everything can stack.
Got tables.
Yeah, we got tables that can, stick to the walls while we're traveling, and then when we get somewhere, we just set everything up how we want it and spend, however long there doing it.
Indoor, outdoor furniture.
There we go. Yeah, nothing expensive, nothing crazy. If it breaks, so be it. I can take care of it. Sure had all this ready for you, but that's not how we roll here. There will be a final wipe down before we commence, but here's the kitchen setup. And I don't have any way to zoom it back any farther, but again, 30 ended up, I wanted 32 inches high, but then the way we designed it, and it ended up coming out to be about 33, just over 33, so it's right over the edge. And I can live with that. I wanted it to be right even with that metal edge, bottom of the window, but it went a little over, and I'm okay with that. Battery operated faucet, fully charged. You can hook the little solar generator up to it and charge it. Most of the stuff in here that runs on electricity can be run off the solar generator, which is nice. I had these little curtains. They came originally 36 inches long, and I couldn't find anything shorter, so I had a friend here on the property hem them down for me. Came out perfect. Underneath, more storage. So we're going to have water recovery, fresh water, solar generator. This is going to be all the batteries. So you can wander around the bus or outside and have little battery packs and not have to depend on the solar generators charging everything all the time. Little refrigerator, that's going to be one of the requirements I need. So when I get to the inspection tomorrow, I got to set that up. So when they come in, they'll see it. This is one of 2 emergency kits. We'll put that there. This is solar panels with a solar generator. I got to find a different home for those. I'm not happy with it under there right now, especially because it's sitting in the place where I got to get a propane tank, 20-pound propane tank, excuse me, and that's going to live there, and everything's going to plug into that. That's the line going up to the camp. I think this is a Flame King. So this is a Flame King 2-burner stove. It's got little windshields and everything. It's pretty cool. Everybody says it's like one of the best on the market. Have not tried it yet, but I hope it's everything they claim to be. This was a sink from Walmart for, not a sink, but it was a mixing bowl, stainless steel mixing bowl. $6 and change. And I just cut a hole in the bottom and ran a drain into it, and that drains into that bucket I showed you down here. That's going to drain into this, and I left it loose, not bolted down, because of the way the piping runs. I can just lift the piping out of the bucket, or out of that container. This whole thing will lift up and it's not stuck in place. And then I can just pull everything out, dump it, put it back in, put everything back together in 2 seconds, and all done. And I can live with it like that. I'm sure other people will cringe, but I am happy with it that way. When I get the 20-pound propane tank, this will go into that. This is the splitter. So this will go into the tank. The stove outlet will come off of here. The buddy heater gets plugged into here. Here's the buddy heater. The hose is going to run behind the unit up into the back where the tank's going to live.
So one of your criteria is an independent heat source from the bus?
Independent, yeah. I can't, like these space heaters, these floor heaters all work, and the dash heater works, but I'm not allowed to count that as a heat source. So they want you to have an independent heat source for the bus. Heat or AC is what they say. So I went with heat because there's no AC in the bus. And so this line has an adapter for the buddy on one side for a 1-pound, and then the other side of the hose is for a 20-pound. And this will get pulled out. I have a little metal shield here because I have a rubber floor. So I have a little metal shield that it'll sit on right here. Put that back in. So I can put it anywhere on the floor within a 12-foot radius. Actually 8 foot now. So I can put it here, I can put it here, here. Anywhere that cord will reach on top of that metal shield, and it won't melt the rubber floor or hurt the... I got a center runner running down the middle. It's not tacked down to the floor, but I'll probably get to that eventually. But I want to be able to take it out and clean it. I don't want it to be there permanently. And then if I ever do anything with the floor later on down the road, I want to be able to take the carpet up. So again, all the furniture is movable, stackable and movable when you're driving. And then when you're parked where you got to go, you lay it all out however you want. I got options for more people. Eventually, a big bed is going to go back here, like most people do. They use this as their living area. I'm going on a trip to Texas. I think I may have mentioned that a couple times. And a couple people decided they're going to go with me at the last minute. So I got a couple more cots for them. So I got a cot for me, which is a requirement for the inspection tomorrow. They want to have one cot set up or some sort of bed as a sleeping area. And a guy I talked to on the phone said just as long as it's cot set up, he's perfectly fine with that. So that's what that is. And then there's extras for the other people that are coming with me. We got a little Campco portable toilet, Zimmer portable. I didn't have it set up because I'm not drilling a hole in the floor. My intent was somewhere in this area. I bought a little pop-up tent. I'm going to set it up right here and put the toilet inside of it for privacy. If that looks hokey or doesn't plan to work out like I hope, I got all these metal, magnetic hooks right here. And they can stick anywhere on the roof, anywhere on the body. The whole inside of here is metal. So I can hang a curtain here, and just outline a, 5x5 space, 4x4, 4x5 space.
And they're 25-pound magnets, so they're not going to pull down by the weight of the curtain.
Exactly. I could technically probably leave them up while they're driving and they wouldn't come down, but I don't want the things flapping around while I'm inside here while I'm driving. And then we come back out the back. So that's it. I mean, there's plenty of room to do whatever we want in here. I'm not going to build it out. I'm not putting walls, but I can maybe put a couple, a little chest for storage.
You got 2 storage bins on the sides.
I got 2 storage bins exactly on the sides of the body, and right now they're almost all full. They've got everything in them. I got the shade structure in there. That's going to be cool. So when we're on the road or we get to where we're going, we set it up. I'll show you how that's going to work. These all these wood sticks are going to come out of the windows. As we're driving, the windows are either going to stay up or fall down. However the springs are, there's nothing I can do about it. But when we get where we're going, I can put them all back up again and help hold the windows closed for now. Until I can go find new springs. A lot of them are either missing springs or the springs are weak and they're not holding the windows closed. And it gets really dusty out here, and we had a few days of rain and boobs, so the sticks were needed to hold everything up. But we'll fix that eventually. Believe I showed you in another video when we had the heavy rains here this week. It dripped a little from here, filled up this little spot right here, so there was a couple little drops on the floor. It wasn't a lot. It was a heavy rain, so not a lot of water got in, but some did get in. And the same thing with this one. So water came in right around here, dripped down, and put a couple spots on the floor. But again, with that heavy rain we had and only a little bit of water came in, I was kind of impressed. And I got to make sure I close this down. So I got to get in there with some WD-40 and spray all that up and then get it closed. Right now I can just leave it the way it is because we're not counting for any rain for weeks now. We hardly ever get rain here. And I don't think we're going to hit any rain on the road. It'll be nice to have the air flowing through. So all I can really tell you from now, had my awesome brother helping me out. Again, I had some people over in the compound that helped me out here, especially with the curtains and lending me some equipment that I didn't have. On this trip, you'll also meet more of Khan. He helped me a lot yesterday. Did a lot of the last minute floor cleaning and a lot of little stuff that absolutely had to get done. So he saved the day on that. And that's where we're at, folks. That's the walkthrough. Anything else you can think of I would need to show the people? Put in the comments below if there's anything else you want to see. Anything else you want to know about?
Air filter?
Air filter, the air filter saga. There should be, by the time you see this video, you should have already seen the whole video series concerning that air filter craziness and everything that was involved in that. But that was a chore in itself, and I can understand after doing it why it went so long, why other guys that owned this bus before, why it wouldn't get done, because it was hell.
I have a question.
What is your question, sir?
Interior lighting, are you just going to use the bus lighting, or do you have a string of lights?
I have tons of lights down here. Good. I already got it packed up and ready because we're going to be moving soon to go to the tire up thing, so I buttoned everything down. In the bottom drawers and in the top drawers, all the electronics. Everything that requires lights. I did a short video on the lights I purchased. Let me clear this.
A string of party lights or something?
I got, they're like teardrop lights, battery operated rechargeable teardrop lights.
Oh, neat.
And they're going to hang from the ceiling. Wherever people set up their little sitting area or their little sleeping area, they can put a little magnet up on the roof and hang a light from it and turn it on, and that'll be their little area. They can have a lighted zone. I have strip lights. I haven't mounted them in yet. I don't know if I will for this trip. But they're LED strip lights, and I'll run one down each side. They're about 20 foot long. Both of them are about 20 foot long. There's more than enough light. Plus, each one of these 12-volt lights work. But they require the control panel up at the front in the cab area. But yeah, I do have plenty of lighting options. Plus, there's tons of light coming in here. Plus, you can always pop the emergency hatches open and allow light in that way.
Yeah, you didn't do like what other people do, where they buy a big long bus with 40 windows and then cover all the windows.
Right. That drives me nuts. It's like, and I can understand why they do it. It's their bills, their vision, and how they want to do it. But to me, it's a bus. So I want to have all the open windows. I want to be able to walk down the center aisle or walk anywhere in this bus.
Open space, open windows, open air.
You got over 200 square feet of space, usable space in here. Why cover all the windows? And then it's like you're in a railroad apartment in New York in the 1940s, where you're walking up this tiny little aisle and you're cramped in on all sides.
So I had a thought about this.
That drives me nuts.
Everybody's doing that tiny living thing.
Yes.
And I get it. Tiny living, you want to downsize. But
Cheaper.
I spent my entire life tiny living.
Yes.
My house is paid for, my car is paid for, I don't have any expenditures. This bus was the biggest spend in 10 years.
Yep.
Buying it, and this is, Yeah.
My intent maybe someday is to live in it permanently and travel around the country, but for now it's going to the lake for a week. It's going to Texas for a week. It's going to Southern California and San Diego for a week. It's to go to Lake Havasu for a week.
I have a home base to come back to.
Yes, right now there's a home base to come back to. Eventually this will be permanently on the road, traveling around. But for now, just till we work out all the bugs and get everything how we want to do it and how the final layouts will be,
Wouldn't that be something if you do this and then you find out you don't like it?
That would be something. But here's the good part about that. I have not damaged it. I have not built out the inside to the point where somebody else would have to tear it apart and do a total...
To do what they want.
All they got to do is unbolt this and take this out, and everything else is done. Everything else comes out in 20 minutes. It's a blank canvas, and they can do whatever they want. Whereas all these guys, they spend $10,000, $15,000 renovating the inside of these buses into an RV, and they'll never see that money back. Because the next guy will buy it, may not like that design, and he's not going to pay full price for something he's going to have to turn around and tear all apart.
We're going to start a new category. It's called Blank Slate Living.
Right, this might be the name of the bus, the Blank Slate Bus. You never know. We're still trying to come up with a name. I was kind of hesitant at first, even giving it a name, because then it's kind of hokey, and you're falling into the thing that everybody else does. But if it was to get a name, I want something unique and different. And Blank Slate could be a perfectly good name for it.
Salvage one. It's already white.
Salvage one. There you go. For those of you who get the reference, man, comment below. If you don't get the reference, ask and somebody will tell you. What were some of the other names we came up with?
White Shadow.
White Shadow. Yeah, that was another good one. Again, if you don't know that reference, ask below. Somebody will tell you. One of us older fogies will tell you all about it. Yep.
And then we have to hustle on over to a truck depot and get the tires aired up and whatever you want to do there.
Yep.
We got to go get the propane tank, set up the system, make sure it functions, no leaks.
Right.
And I think that's it. Then I think it's
ready for inspection. quick and painless. He went in, did his inspection, said it looked great, met all the criteria. I had to go in and it's going to be the same number, but there's a different style of plate that differentiates it from commercial to motorhome or regular vehicle. So this is my new window sticker, and then a plate will be coming in 10 days or so. The whole thing cost me $20. That was it.
Oh, because you already paid the initial when you got the commercial.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I believe, yeah.
Okay.
So issue me a new design plate, do the inspection, the whole thing, $20.
You can get a vanity plate?
No vanity plate. But anybody, if you're in Arizona and you're in the Phoenix Sea area, just come down here to the 59th Street.
59th Ave.
59th Ave MVD. Officer Pfaffenbach is his name. Guy's awesome. It's a no pain process. Well, never-ending saga. I think the last I talked to the camera here was we had just got the MVD inspection done and passed with flying colors, and we were on our way back from the Phoenix area down to the home base where we keep the bus while we were doing the conversion, and we're getting all ready. I was going to take this big trip to Texas, and oil line from the I guess the oil pan runs from the oil pan and into the turbo exploded. O-rings on, I think, both sides exploded. So I had to hobble that together on the side of the highway. I didn't get any footage of that because I was so mad about what was going on, and it was just me. I didn't have anybody with me. So made it to the I got under the bus, hobbled everything back together as best I could, and limped my way back to home base and got it parked. I had to find a mechanic diesel shop that was open. I ended up going to Speedco, limped it over there at 20 miles an hour so I wouldn't be spooling up the turbo and losing oil more than I'd already lost. I put some back in, but I didn't have enough to replace it all, and I didn't want to dry the turbo out and mess it up. So flashers go on, and I limp it over to Speedco, and they confirm, it's the O-rings and both ends of the hose. They didn't have any of the parts, and even if they did, they don't work on buses. So I got hosed on that one. So I'm like, well, is there anybody in the area that does? So they pointed me to Midway Diesel, which is in Eloy, which is a town close by. And I set up an appointment. Next day, I once again limped the bus at 20 miles an hour down the highway to Eloy and to Midway. Tell them what I saw and what Speedco had told me about when they were under it. And so they went under and they concurred. So they had O-rings there. But all day long. I had an appointment for 9:30. I got there. I'm 15 minutes late because I was moving a lot slower than I anticipated. 3:40. I sat there before they could get to the bus. There's a busy shop, so I'm not ragging on them in any way, shape, or form. These guys was a busy shop, and they had a lot of trucks parked there getting work done. But they finally got to the bus. They go underneath. They pull everything out, go change the O-rings, and inspect the hose. The hose is fine, but the housing to the turbo that the hose connects to the turbo was all scored up, and that happened over a course of years. That wasn't from this incident. It's just the O-ring burst on that side because the housing was all scored up inside, and the O-ring had no more pressure. There was nothing for it to rest against, so it blew out. And over the years, from turbo on, turbo off, turbo on, turbo off, just normal wear and tear function, it had wore grooves inside the housing, the O-rings and everything moving around, and unfortunately, now the housing's bad, and they didn't have one in stock. So now they have one on order. It's going to be here tomorrow. So they tell me tomorrow morning, but they probably won't be able to get to work to it until tomorrow afternoon. I was supposed to be on the road to Texas as the first inaugural trip for this thing, and now that's not going to happen, so I'm going to have to push that back at least a day. all the stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to stop and get collect some little bits of comfortable furniture for it, from like Facebook Marketplace and things like that. That's all shot, so whatever I leave with is what I leave with, and hopefully, you know, it'll be enough. Hopefully I won't have any more problems. He did, while he was under there, he took a bunch of pictures of stuff pointing out, you know, this is, and I totally concur. And so I told him, make a list and fix this what you can now. Let me, you know, make an appointment to come in and we'll fix everything that needs fixing all in one shot. So that's kind of what we're going to do. I have no idea what this bill is going to be. Whatever it was, I'm sure it's going to be another 100 or two more, because this housing that they have to replace and the labor that's going to that'll generate. And while I was there, I saw a recalculating bus. They were in town, and they had stopped at that shop as well to get transmission work done, I think. And you'll probably see that in one of their upcoming videos. Hopefully I'm not, you know, stepping all over them on that. I'm pretty sure by the time you guys see this stuff, they'll already have theirs posted and done. But it was kind of cool to meet them and see them. Well, a casualty of the great turbo disaster of 2022, when they were lifting and lowering the engine cowl, the doghouse here inside, they were crushing my 12-volt socket. The body here, the socket was sitting here, hanging here, and they were lifting this up, and they kept crushing it and banging it, and then now it's all deformed. Now I got to get another one, brand new one. Never even got to use it yet. Or maybe I used it one time. I think I plugged in a refrigerator one time to see if it would work. The little mini fridge, and for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. And now it's dead. I gotta get another one. That sucks balls. This just keeps getting better and better. Now I got some kind of crazy front end shake. I had the tires aired up to 100. I drove it for a day to 2 days. Perfectly fine. Never had a problem, no shimming, no shaking, no nothing. Then the turbo incident happened. I took it to get fixed. And then on the way back from there, between 25 and 35 or 25 and 45 miles an hour, wicked shake. The whole bus shakes. Whole front of that bus. But it's only during acceleration. It doesn't do it during braking, slowing down. It only does it when speeding up. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's crazy. But I got more. We got more to do. More to cover. Alright, so this was the other part that went bad. Originally the O-ring here inside blew out because it was worn into this groove and just old, so it blew out. Oil everywhere. And then when they were trying to put everything back together, that's when they saw this groove was in here, worn in here. I don't know if you can see it. And it prevented it from making a seal, so they had to get this whole new housing. And this was a $150 part. Crazy, because again, it's Caterpillar, it's proprietary to them. The 3126. If I had like the 3126E motor or B motor or something like that, it would have been half that money. But because it's the first generation 3126 and they don't make any parts for it anymore, what parts are left go for a premium, and I had to pay a premium. As always, just like with the stupid air filter, just like with everything else. So, here we are. That was a culprit that held me up for an extra day. But it's replaced now. Brand new one. Hopefully that'll last 20-something years. And with that said, I'll let you go. Got the bus fixed. But then on the way back, it started developing this weird front end shake that it did not have before. And I'm looking at the front tires, and I know I had them aired up to 100 pounds just a couple days ago, but it looks like they're low again. And they're brand new tires, so either I got leaking valve stems or something, which blows. So now I got to go get that looked at. I'm never going to get out of here. I lost the power connector for the generator to plug it into a 110 outlet so you can charge it. I can't find that anywhere, so somewhere during all this cleanup and construction, that got thrown out, looks like. crazy. Then while they were working on the bus, they picked up the doghouse, lifted up the engine cover, and they ended up crushing my 12-volt female socket that I had plugged into the wire for the dash. So now that's destroyed, and I got to replace that. Can't charge half the stuff without that. What else? Fuel gauge doesn't work, but that ended up working in my favor because I thought I blew through a whole tank full of fuel in just less than a week, which is, I think, 150, 200, 300 miles. And I thought, man, what am I getting? Like half a gallon of diesel an hour, half a gallon per mile? But it ended up that the fuel gauge is wrong. I go over to the Love's to fuel up, and so, I hand them $300. Price now, it's $5 a gallon for diesel. Thank you, fucking Joe Biden, for that bullshit. But I hand them $300. I said I just want to, put 300 in. I'm probably not going to use it. I said I'll probably use it all, and with more to spare. Gave them my money. Go out, fuel everything, and it stops. It only stops about a few minutes in, and I'm like, yeah, can't be pumping that fast. So I'm looking around at all the fuel islands, the fuel pods that are associated with my island, and not a single one of them has a gauge that works. So you can't tell how much you put in, you can't tell the price you paid, can't tell anything. So I trudged my butt all the way back into the place again, to the counter, and I said, handed them my receipt, and I said, yeah, I didn't use all 300. I don't know what's going on. I guess my fuel gauge isn't working, but I can't tell how much I did use because none of the pump dials are working. So they had to figure everything out, and they gave me my money back. I only spent $161 at $5 a gallon. So I'm over here doing all the math, and I don't know whether I got an 80-gallon fuel tank or a 60-gallon fuel tank. It's acting like it's 60, but I could be wrong. It could be an 80-gallon fuel tank. I don't know. So another way to know is to fill it all the way up till you know it's full, which I just did, and then just drive it. And then fill it up again when it's empty, and that's how you know how much fuel you got, how much the tank is. But with the gauge not working, I got to stop. I got to fill up every half a tank. Whenever it reads half, I can't trust it, so I have to stop between a quarter and a half and fill up again because I can't trust the gauge. So we got that problem. And other than that, she passed. She passed MVD. Great. We got the turbo hose and everything fixed. I have them working up a list. They showed me a bunch of other stuff that was under there. They took pictures and stuff, and I stuck my head under there when it was parked out in front of their building, and I can see the stuff they're talking about and needed it. So once we're done with this trip, we'll bring it back and get it worked on, but hopefully with less destruction to my vehicle. So I don't know what kind of trip we're going to turn it into. Hopefully we're going to make the best of it. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and just sound bad all the time. But got most of it tackled. Just the little annoying things now with the broken cables and missing cables. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do about that because I can't go on the road without a generator. I can't have no power. So I got to figure out what to do there. And with that said, I guess I'm done for now. I will update you all later. Ciao.